Hi, this is a video that will be linked to this post on the Warp Investor blog right here, and that explains the simulation-based valuation of the S&P 500 that I just conducted. Um, as we can see, we have two scenarios. The one on the left assumes an earnings growth for the S&P 500 earnings of 3.20%. And the right, we have an earnings growth of 1.20%. So it's a less benign scenario. And this is within the range of analysts' estimates. So this one on the left leads to earnings of 225 and change, and on the right, 220 and change. Dividing this number, which is the most recent top our most recent high of the S&P 500, dividing this by this, we get this PE, which is a reasonable PE for the S&P 500. Um, and here we assume this, I'm sorry, this PE is an unreasonable uh, number for the S&P 500 because of the interest rates. So on this less negative scenario on the left, we assume the 10-year rate to be 4.62, which is what it is at the time of this writing. And the one on the right is 5.48%, which is the 3-month yield. Um, And the reason for this is that this assumes that the yield curve will uninvert at some point, and so this would be the 3 months. So the 3 month, 10-year yield curve is inverted right now. We are assuming that it will be uninvert, and then if this happens, the 10-year rate will be 5.48%. So this gives us on the left a fair PE for the S&P 500 or of 10 and some change, and fair PE on the right of 9 and something. Fair price of the S&P 500 would on the left would be 2,437, uh, and on the right would be 2012. So this one on the left would be a difference from the top of almost 50%, and this one of about 58%. How do I get these numbers for the simulation? So we go to yardeni.com, earnings forecast for the S&P 500. Here it is, the 3.2% that I used on the left simulation, the more benign one, and this is the analyst estimate, which I use on the right uh, side of my simulation, 1.2%. And the rates for the 10-year, I use this one for the left side simulation, and I use this one for the right side simulation because this is the 10-year. If the 10-year 3 month where the yield curve was to uninvert and the Fed maintains short-term interest rates high, then you would have a 10-year rate that would equal the 3 month Treasury yield or Treasury rate, uh, and therefore you would expect this 10-year to be this value here. So there you go, the simulation. These fair prices, uh, I understand they appear to be very low, and it doesn't mean that they will be reached. But you see the pressure pulling the S&P 500 down from its current value, which is, if I look at the markets, it's 4,293. So there is a pull to these values. There's a pull to these values they're much lower than they are now, but about 50% lower uh, from the current value of the S&P 500. So you have this pull, and you may have a market crash, and then, of course, things happen, and these numbers may not be reached. So, for example, if the Fed indicates that it will lower interest rates, then we will not get to the down to these values. We're going to probably stop the drop in the S&P 500 uh, before it reaches these values. Now, if the Federal Reserve maintains its current stance, and we have this earnings growth of only 1.20%, then we're going to probably see the curve uninvert, and we're going to see a major drop in the S&P 500. Could go to half of what it is now, or uh, 50% down, 50% reduction from its most recent top value. So this concludes this video. Thank you for watching.